Today, we're diving into a story that starts out with so much promise. Academic ambition, a bright future, but it ends up in a place that's much, much darker. This is the story of a brilliant student from Delhi University whose entire life got derailed by a single, seemingly innocent act. Now, the source material actually calls her RT, but to protect her identity, we're going to call her Ritu. And her story, wow, it really does begin with all the hope and promise in the world, but it ends up as this chilling cautionary tale, a tale about forces that maybe we just don't understand. So let's get to know our main character, Ritu. She came from a village in Uttar Pradesh called Malwa, which was actually pretty progressive for its time, especially when it came to educating girls. And Ritu, well, she was brilliant. Her one big dream was to study at the prestigious Delhi University.
And look, Ritu wasn't just a good student, she was absolutely exceptional. Right from childhood, she was a top student. She gets into maths honors at DU, consistently gets high ranks, and even secures a postgrad position at TIFAR, that's one of India's top research institutes. I mean, she was on a clear path to becoming a scientist. Her future was incredibly bright.
Okay, so here we are. It's her final semester. Her whole future is laid out right in front of her. And then, she and her 6 close friends make a decision. A fateful decision. It all started with a bit of playful skepticism, but it was a choice that would change absolutely everything. One evening, they're walking through a park, and they stumble upon this box of sweets. It's just sitting there, under a peepal tree, with these 3 distinct red marks on it. For Ritu, alarm bells start ringing. Remembering superstitions from her village, she knew this looked like some kind of ritual offering, and she warned her friends, hey, don't touch that. But her friend Amit, he just laughed it off. He completely mocked her, saying something like, seriously, you're going to be a scientist and you still believe in all this village superstition? And to prove his point, he defiantly grabs a sweet and eats it. Then he actually forces one into Ritu's mouth. After that, the rest of the group joined in, and they even took some back to share with a professor they were all friendly with. In the weeks that followed, what started out as a complete joke, well, it spiraled into this inexplicable, terrifying series of tragedies. This tight-knit group of 7 friends started to fall apart, one by one, in the most horrifying ways imaginable. And their lives unraveled with this terrifying speed. Just 15 days after they ate those sweets, their professor dies in a car crash. Before he died, he said he swerved to avoid 2 girls who just appeared on the road out of nowhere. Then another friend, Jayanti, gives birth, but her baby dies. She'd had this horrifying vision of 2 girls wanting to eat her child. Shortly after that, she took her own life. And while all this is happening to her friends, Ritu is being haunted herself. Every single evening, she would see these 2 girls just standing there, watching her with no expression on their faces. You can imagine, this constant presence just sent her spiraling into a deep state of fear and depression. The horror really peaked one day in a university classroom. Another friend, Ankur, just started acting bizarrely, tearing up paper, shoving it in his mouth. And right before he collapsed, he spoke these chilling words. But the voice wasn't his. It sounded like multiple girls speaking at once. He was rushed to the hospital, but the doctors at Ames were completely baffled. They found that numerous nerves in his body had somehow been severed. He didn't make it. So now, with her friends gone, whatever malevolent force had been let loose turned its full, undivided attention onto Ritu. The hauntings weren't just hauntings anymore. They intensified, and she started to lose control of herself. It became a full-blown possession. The torment just got worse and worse. Ritu started seeing the ghost of her friend Jayanti, who kept blaming her for everyone's death. That was the final straw. Ritu finally broke down and called her family. They rushed to Delhi to bring her home to their village, but whatever it was, it followed her. Back in the village, things escalated dramatically. She woke up one morning speaking fluent Haryanvi, a language she had never ever learned, and was screaming abuse at her own mother. Her terrified family called in a powerful local priest for help. But get this, on his way to their house, the priest had a freak accident. He claimed he felt someone physically grab him and throw him off his motorcycle. 12 days later, he was also dead. It was becoming terrifyingly clear. Whatever was tormenting Ritu was powerful enough to destroy anyone who tried to help her. As a total last resort, another priest told the family there was one last hope. They had to take Ritu to the Mehendipur Balaji temple, a place known all over for dealing with these kinds of paranormal afflictions. The journey itself was an absolute ordeal. Ritu was convulsing, trying to harm herself the entire way. This really was their last shot. At the temple, after 4 long, agonizing days of intense rituals, Ritu was finally free. The entity's grip was broken. She was safe. But her family had to know why. Why did all of this happen? And the investigation uncovered an incredibly tragic backstory. It turns out the spirits belonged to 2 young women who had been living in a nearby hostel. They had both become pregnant, and their boyfriends abandoned them. Heartbroken, they committed suicide together. After this, a ritual was done to bind their spirits to that very same people tree. And the sweets? Well, they weren't a curse. They were actually a prescribed offering meant to pacify those tormented souls, an offering that Ritu and her friends had stolen and eaten. Ritu survived this whole nightmare, which is incredible. But the experience left a permanent, indelible scar on her life. It cast this long, dark shadow over the incredibly bright future she had worked so hard to build for herself. So the big question is, why did she survive when so many others died? Well, according to a priest who helped her, it all came down to one thing: her unbelievable mental strength. Deep down, she fought back. She never fully surrendered her will to the spirits. And that, he said, is the only reason she's alive today. And let's just take a moment to really appreciate what was lost here. That institute, TIFR, offers only 30 seats a year for these subjects. 30. For the entire country. And Ritu had earned one of them. She was literally on the verge of joining the ranks of India's most brilliant scientific minds. After years and years of recovery from the trauma, Ritu did manage to rebuild her life. She has a stable, respectable government job now. But it's a universe away from the life of scientific research and discovery that she had always dreamed of. And you can hear the regret in her own words. It's palpable. Her story really is this stark, haunting reminder of how one single evening, one moment of skepticism, completely changed the entire course of her life forever. So, what do we make of Ritu's story? Is it just a tragic, cautionary tale about the importance of respecting beliefs and traditions you don't understand? Or does it maybe point to something more? A reality that exists just beyond the edges of our modern scientific comprehension? That, in the end, is something for you to think about.